Good morning, everybody.
Is it? Yes, it is.
You know what? It's not. Can we talk about how ragged do I look right now? So full disclosure.
We can't talk about that.
Why?
We've been married for 28 years. I'm not going to talk about our ragged look. You don't look ragged. You look beautiful. I always say that, but it never gets through. So.
Okay, so no, I'm just saying it's been a rough morning. It was a very late, very emotional evening, which we can talk about a little bit later.
Yes, we will talk about that for sure.
Today, by the way, that was Publix. We just want to point out. So Publix is the main grocery store. Now, the only reason I say that is because my son moved to Texas, and every time we were, a couple years ago when we were looking for an apartment for him, everyone kept talking about HGBs just down the street, and finally I had to... HEB?
HEB,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I said, what is that? Like, you're saying this like I'm supposed to know. And they're like, oh, well, it's our grocery store.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, so Publix is our grocery store. We still have Kroger and, like, some of the other ones, but
yes.
But mostly Publix. And it is absolutely amazing and fabulous. So
yeah,
Publix is our grocery store. Once you go to Publix, you will never shop anywhere else.
They've embraced the Disney philosophy. We've embraced the... Their parking lots are coming out of the parking lots are difficult.
Yeah.
They've embraced the Disney philosophy of good custer service and friendliness kind of thing,
yeah.
and they usually achieve that. So
they do.
Usually, no one's perfect.
Okay.
Let's start on an important note as we go down Stony Brook West Parkway. By the way, just so you know where we are.
Yep.
We're taping this on a Saturday. We keep wanting to tape these during the week. There's no time. But we do want to take time at the moment. We're taping this on Saturday, the 12th of June, which is the anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting and tragedy. And so
5 years.
5 years. And because most of you watch this from outside of Orlando, you may not know this. You probably can intuitively sense this, but this gets us.
Yeah.
This is kind of our. In the city of Orlando, it's kind of our defining tragedy of the in certainly modern history, and so 49 people were killed. But what came out of that is the positive is a lot of rallying of support of all of the communities in the area that we so strongly support here in Orlando. And, we say that love, a lot of what comes out of it is love is stronger than hate and love conquers all. And we believe those things, but I would change that just slightly to say active love conquers hate. It's not really good enough just to say, yes, I support this or support that or support people. Fundamentally, the entire thing for me is about supporting everyone in being who they choose to be and who they love, and we certainly do. We all need to spend more time being more active in that. And I think Amy's top memory of that is about that active love. We were talking about this morning. What's your number one memory of the Pulse thing?
Going to give blood.
Yep.
And in the Winter Garden Village, which we reference a lot.
Yeah.
They always have the big red bus out there, for blood donation.
One Blood is the company. Yep.
They always have that out there, quite frequently. But on that particular day, I mean, it was a zigzag throughout the entire parking lot of people standing in line to give blood, and it was a powerful representation of how much we just need to love one another unconditionally, simply because you exist. The good, the bad, the like you, the not like you. It doesn't seem like it's that hard.
It really should not be that hard.
It should not be that hard.
And we happen to love a lot of people who have a lot of different ways that they love, and it's never occurred to me to have it bother me. I only celebrate it because love is the best thing we got.
It is.
And so I mean, so as we, maybe we'll sit at the stoplight in just a minute, as I'm gonna get a little emotional. Anyway, we love you guys, and all of you, and so let's just take just a moment while we sit here, and we'll just give it a moment of silence, and then we'll continue with our rambling. So anyway, if you take anything out of that whole thing, love each
one
other.
Another.
Good gracious, just love each other. It's the best thing. Why would you not do that? That's the best thing. Yes.
We were,
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Welcome to the Sunday Drive.
Happy Sunday Drive.
I don't know. I've got a happy tears too. I don't know. It's the whole thing is just an amalgam of emotion.
I'm not going to get like all into religion or anything like that. But I this is kind of a funny thing. So all the, being, a kid going to church all the time every Sunday, my grandma would drive to our house and honk the horn, and we'd all run out and we'd get in the car and we'd go to church. And, of everything that I remember, there's lots of little moments, but the one underlying message that was encompassing to me for everything was literally love one another.
Yeah.
And so when our kids were little, and they would start to do their typical little squabbles or whatever, I would start screaming in the singing in the worst, singing voice ever, love one another. And it was so embarrassing to them. And I used to tell them,
give us the example. No, come on.
No.
I'll do it. Love one another.
Yes, it would be the worst. I would make it as horrible, as off key, which is probably my typical singing voice.
No, not true.
But oh my gosh, it embarrassed them so much. So we have a little that's kind of my thing. I'm like, do you want to make me sing? I will sing. Anyway, so little story about that. Okay, so
where are we going today?
We are. It's kind of a twofold because remember we have to make these Sunday drives
wedge
efficient.
These suckers in. Yeah.
There's a stop we need to make, so we're just going to go to that community. So we are going to go to the community of Westmere. Now, interestingly, with Westmere, it is a community that is located officially in Ocoee, or as Siri says, Ocoee.
Ocoee, yes.
Ocoee.
Or as our friend Terry Ward, who you know as Jack Diamond at Disney World, says, Ocoee, the center of beautiful living.
Yes.
So, yes.
So it is at Ocoee, and it is actually a community that is directly beside. So we're here in Winter Garden. Winter Garden Village was just back there on our left.
Yep.
Windermere is on our right. Winter Garden is still on our left, and then literally right next door is a community called Westmere, which is technically Ocoee, but it's
no one would believe you that it's Ocoee.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with Ocoee, but
that's the post office that serves them.
Yes, exactly. Sir, it's actually the same.
Yeah, Ocoee's great, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just that it doesn't. It just sits there in the middle.
Well, and it's important to know where it is in proximity to everything else that we've been talking about. Remind me, I need to go to the main gate on McGuire.
And this is one of those things where we're on Stony Brook West Parkway, which then becomes a different road, but it's the same road. It's all a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
You'll get it when you live here. You'll see.
So we're going to go to the community. Now, I will say when we get there, we'll have to do a little momentary pause because it is a gated community. We have a listing.
Yeah, okay.
I do. Yes, I do. In fact, I'm going to have you man it.
Okay, cool.
I'll punch in the code when we get there, and then I'll have you man it. So this is a community where we had a listing, still have it, but it's pending now.
It's pending, yeah.
It went active on Thursday morning, bright and early, the entire Thursday. You can ask my other clients that were in town. Hi, Ernest. My phone was just blowing up all day long because of the showing requests, which was great. That's what you want, right? You want to put your home on the market. You want to have showing requests.
Yep.
So the showing requests were coming in incessantly, but it's a gated community, and unlike a lot of gated communities where you just punch in the gate code and it automatically opens, this happens to be one where you punch in the gate code and that gate code automatically transfers to a phone number who then has to buzz you in. So in this case, it was going to my phone so that I could buzz them in. So that's kind of a little bit of a different, and for those of you that had phone calls with me this week, you might notice that I called you from my Virginia phone with the 757 area code instead of my Florida one because I needed to have the other phone accessible.
I'll just say while we're going past, this is actually the community that we're going into. It's called Westmere. But we have to go in the other gate because that's where the code works.
Correct.
We just thought we wanted to show you. This is kind of an iconic, not iconic, but it's just a very representative neighborhood of this sort of neighborhood that's all through here.
And this home was built in 1998, so this is going to be a great representation of an older community, still in a very highly desirable area, but you can kind of get a little bit of a feel for what it looks like to have a community with truly canopied sidewalks with all of the mature landscaping. While we're here, I'm going to give a shout out to our dentist, Dr. Zargari.
Dr. Zargari is lovely.
Actually, it might be Zagari. I don't know, Zargari.
We always say
I say Zagari, but
he doesn't care because he bought a jet ski with the money we've paid him. Because
at least.
we
Like,
have a lot of people, and we're not great. I mean, our
probably
teeth are fine.
Yes.
Hey, big week though. We had big week. So our son got his braces off. That's not Dr. Zagari, whatever.
No.
It's
Fravel Brewer orthodontist.
Yes, great, and
we should get like money for these shout outs.
We should have charged him in advance. We should have said.
But I've already paid for the braces. So
yeah, it's over. We're paid up. But anyway, he's super thrilled. He also he's turning 16 soon.
Yeah.
His new vehicle, we had to order it, so it came early. So he's very excited. Big week. And also,
this is the same kid that totaled our car, by the way.
That's true. Well, yeah, but it was an accident.
It was an accident.
Yes, it was just a mistake.
Truly.
So one of these days we're going to drive you to a place called Nick Filet, which is a hilarious thing.
Yes,
he also has a job, so he's been working there at Nick Filet, which is hilarious.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh,
the food is good.
So
we'll take you there. It's down near Restaurant Row. We'll take you there sometime.
That's a great idea.
That's where he works. We'll go see our son at work and embarrass him. That's a good thing. Okay, so what we want to talk about though today, as kind of our topic, a couple of things. We have the May statistics in the market for you, which we'll share in a minute. But we're going to also contrast that or compare that with our experience with selling this listing that just happened. Mm-hmm. And you'll see that the two things go together. So take us through as we head to
Make sure I don't miss it.
It's later than you think because it's a big community.
Right.
So take us through there's the dentist. Yeah.
Yes.
Hi. So take us through the experience of, give us the TikTok, as I like to say, not the app, but give us the time by time piece of the listing went active. What time?
Like 8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. By what time did you have your first showing scheduled?
Make sure you point me into the
Yes, you're fine. It's not here yet. It's the next slide.
What were you saying?
At listing went active at 8 a.m. What time did you have your first showing request?
Oh, like 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
Was the first notification that there was a showing.
But the showing was like at 10 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
It was quick.
Yeah, very quick.
So,
it was like
and
10,
then
10:30, 11:30.
This is it here. And then how many showings did we have the first day? Was it 14?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was 14 showings in a day, which, by the way, they're in 15-minute brackets. Careful there, because I don't know what he's doing.
He's going in reverse.
Welcome to Florida. So what has happened here? So this is a gated community. This is a good subject just to touch on. If you look, residents can go to the right. They have a little thing, like a garage door opener or just a sensor.
Yep.
That an RFID thing that lets them know they're there. So the gate opens for them. On the left side, and many, if not most communities are like this. If it's not guard gated, you come in on the left side and you put in a code. In this particular case, you dial the code and it dials a phone number and they can hit a button to open the gate, which is kind of cool, but it does cause this. So you see they back up on the thing because you've got the Spectrum truck going in. Mm-hmm. Well, he's calling his customer. Well, they might not know that's who's calling. They're like, who's trying to open the gate?
Oh, but they opened it.
They did it, so it's good. Also, don't try to go through the gate behind someone else.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yes.
Because you'll see this thing will close very fast. Okay, back to our thing while we go. So 14 showings the first day, 3 or 4 the second day, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we had more than we had to cancel.
Right, and we told you last week when you list your home, it can be, the day that you list it can matter. Well, yeah, except I'll bleep that out now because people will be calling us all the time from the gate. It's like,
I whispered it.
You whispered it on the World Wide Web. No, I'm gonna blur it out. Yes, that's the code. This makes me laugh. Okay. Anyway, although the code won't be active anymore anyway, so it won't matter. And now it's gonna ring. So it's gonna ring her phone. We think it's dialing right now. We're a little scattered now. So there we go. Guard gate calling us. So I answer that, and I hit the code, and boom. It just like that too. By the way, it's fast. Thank you, guard gate. Okay, cool. And then it hangs up. Anyway.
Okay.
14 showings, and then like 5 showings the second day.
It's crazy.
We talked about how.
And we're just driving around, by the way. There's nothing specific right now. We just want to show you this beautiful.
But we can see this beautiful doggo.
Yes.
Aw. It's like a Beatles album.
By the way, each of these little areas have little mini subsections of the subdivision, if that makes sense.
And that's really just when they built it. They built one section first, then the next section, and maybe different builders. Maybe Could be. Who knows?
And this is an older community.
Yeah. But by the way, look
Manhattan.
at the landscaping is just beautiful in here.
It's beautiful.
Okay, so anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
Focus, Eric.
Yes.
Focus. So we talked about in the previous video that when you take a left into the next thing just to show the Westmere. I'm never going to get to this point, but that's okay. That's the story of my life.
Just keep going.
Okay, sorry. Look at this. Look at this. The Taskmaster.
It's a big snap.
That's nice. That was really good.
Thanks. So
We talked about how if you, the day that you list it matters. So we did that intentionally on Thursday. The idea being to have showings. Our sellers fantastically did what we think is a really smart thing. They went away. They said, well, we'll just basically make the house an easy going show. So in other words, there was nobody in the house at the time, so we turned all the lights on in the morning, and then people could just come and show up, right? So that was the plan, and the plan. Go ahead.
No.
I thought you wanted to tell them about what we're looking at.
Well, you just had to pull in here. So.
Okay, cool. There's the pool. Okay, cool. All right, here we go.
Point is, they have great amenities in this community.
Yes, tennis
so this
courts,
is just another example
court.
of
Yes.
communities with great amenities: pool, tennis courts, park, playground, obviously
Yes.
the walking trails,
Yes.
and that's it. Also, a minute ago, I think I just tapped the microphone.
That's okay.
So
Yeah.
if you hear a big clunkety clunk, that was me.
That's okay. We'll figure. I put the microphone on the knob.
Gear shift. Okay, go
Yes.
ahead.
Okay, so
Continue.
So we did that because then we could do the whole weekend of just having showings. And the seller's idea was, hey, well, maybe by Saturday night we'll have enough offers to go through and have some good offers. Well, how'd that work out, Amy?
It was crazy. We had 10 offers
Yeah.
in that short period of time. We could have,
And really by Friday afternoon.
yes,
right?
oh yeah, no, they were all coming in. We only had, I think, 2 that came in actually on Friday. Everything else was like they saw it fast and put in their offer very quickly. And in those situations, so here's the debate then that we had. Do we let it continue through the weekend? If it's getting such positive response, should we just continue to let it go and continue to, maybe drive up the price? But, nobody knew what the offers were for. Right. So, we had a lot of good offers in hand. But here's the thing. This market is so, we're so scarce with inventory that the buyers, and having been on the other side of this transaction, representing the buyers and having them submitting offers and then sometimes getting them and sometimes not, you want to be wary and considerate of all the buyers.
Yes.
Because there's one that's going to have the offer accepted, and then there's going to be a lot of other ones that don't. And they might be on a time crunch. They don't have 3 or 4 days to wait for you to get 50,000 offers and decide which one, especially if they couldn't necessarily be as competitive as others because maybe their budget wasn't as flexible.
And
so
I'll give you a quick example. We have actually another buyer that has an offer in that we put the offer in on Thursday, and then they wrote us back and said, okay, they're going to make a decision on Monday. Well, that blows up our entire weekend.
Yeah.
We can't make another offer on another property because we have to wait and see if they get that one.
Yes.
So the consideration that Amy shared with the sellers was, hey, let's be considerate of these buyers.
Yes.
That may if we had 10 offers, 9 of them were going to hear no.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about the heartbreak of that in a little bit. But so 9 we're going to hear no, so we want to be able to let them look this weekend.
Yeah.
It's because some of these folks have to find a home.
Right. I mean, that's just common courtesy, if you ask me. If you know that the offer is not accepted, why are you, or if it's not in the running, if you're on the low end of that pile, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
And candidly, I don't know if, excuse me, if this is where you were going, but the offer that we submitted for someone, I specifically called the listing agent prior to submitting the offer and said, I specifically said, when will your sellers be making a decision? And I said, or are you holding all of these offers and submitting them at a specific time? He's like, oh, no, I'll send it to them,
He said by noon the next day is what he said. And so which was great for us.
Right. So
because we had a client in town, she needed to make an offer and know one way or the other. Fantastic. Except.
Okay. So he interrupts me like all the time.
We're married.
I have no idea where we are. I am just looping around. Anyway, so I specifically, before submitting the offer, I wasn't going to go through all the paperwork if he's like, well, we're not going to make our decision until, Wednesday, which ultimately ended up being the day. So he said, well, we're going to make our decision, the next day. So the next day comes along, I text him, hey, haven't heard anything, has your seller been able to look at the offers and make their decision? Oh, well, no, not yet. We're going to do that tomorrow. I'm like, okay. And then then the next day comes along, and I'm like, please keep in mind, we had 24 hours on our, for acceptance. Anyway, long story long. Is ultimately he did not meet with his clients until 6 p.m. the night before, and then at 6:30, no, I'm sorry, it was at 7.
Yeah.
He calls and says, yeah, I'm here. I'm just waiting for the sellers. They're running late. And then they accepted our offer right away. So I don't even know that there were really that many offers. I think they were just kind of biding their time,
waiting to see, which is fine, but it's also uncool at the same time.
It's very uncool because, our clients seriously needed to find something while they were physically here in town to see it for themselves.
Yep.
And that's just really frustrating. And I felt like very inconsiderate. And it kind of puts the entire transaction kind of on a, a little bit of a frustrating note.
For us, once we had like literally we got 10 offers and they were 10 strong offers.
So by the way, we just flip-flopped. Okay, so we were talking about us submitting an offer for one of our clients on another home where I was not the listing agent. So this one I am the listing agent, and this is the one where we received the 10 offers. Yep.
And we'll see it.
And we'll see it. It just went active on, like I said, Thursday morning, and it is now already pending. Here is the sign and the lovely home.
It is lovely.
I have to say, I just love this community. Isn't that beautiful? Sale pending already.
Hold it slow right there. I'm framing the shot. Move up just a little bit. There you go. Right there. Good. Hold. No,
sorry.
We got the tree in the way. It's okay. It's fine. It doesn't matter. There's the house. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
But just back to what we were talking about. So we said, well, let's do Thursday so we can go through the weekend. But once we had literally 10 offers, and the 10th best offer was strong.
Yes.
In any other market, it wasn't strong for this particular market that we're in, but we thought to ourselves, and by the way, the stories attached to each of the offers.
So maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah,
to send a letter or not to send a letter.
Oh, great.
But anyway, to Eric's point, that a couple of them had literal letters. Some of them had, just a little story that the realtor shared with me, at the end, at the beginning of the email with the offer submission.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's, honestly, everybody has a story.
Yep.
And,
yes.
So you don't know what that story is. Sometimes they share with you why they, want your home and feel connected. And, sometimes, so when we sold our house in Virginia, somebody did submit a letter with their offer, and honestly, it kind of upset us a little bit. Even though it was a very sweet letter, but it was like we didn't want to move. Like there was just something about it.
Yeah, it was more about us than it was about them.
Absolutely.
But it also, the thing was, it felt like a gimmick, and it felt like a gimmick to get us to accept a lower price.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think that's what was it for me. It felt like we were being played a little bit. The letters that we got with this one did not feel that way because first of all, they were offers over asking price, and there was a sincerity to those letters that I thought was really nice.
Yes.
And we had some folks that are going through very difficult situations. We had people that connected to the house in such a great way. We had some folks that their story is the seller's story, so it was like really cool.
And then there were some people where it was, just an investor that, probably didn't have an attachment, was thinking of more of it as a financial opportunity.
And
well, let's talk about real quick just about how that process went.
Yes.
And this is probably true for every realtor, every seller out there that is in a multiple offer situation. And I will tell you, I think everyone probably has their own organizational way that they like to do things. But for us, what we did is we took each of the offers and we highlighted the fine points, obviously purchase price, earnest money deposit, whether or not it was financing or cash, what that percentage was, what was their pre-approval actually for, things like inspection period, appraisal, were they doing an escalatory clause? So all of the actual main points of what makes your offer different from the next. And so we gave equal credit and equal merit to each of those offers.
And presented each one.
And we got them all organized. We even we did a Zoom call with our clients late in the evening to go over each of the offers individually. We gave them each a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we talked about each of them, and then we let the sellers kind of decide, is it an automatic no? Is it a maybe? Is it a probably not, but still maybe? Was it a absolutely
They said
yes?
low. They had a low maybe pile.
Low maybe pile. That's what it was.
Low maybe.
And that's kind of the way that they chose to categorize. So when that offer was not in the running, then we just put that one face down off to the side, and we continue to talk about them. And then, ultimately we weighed all of the different points, positive, negative, and oh my gosh, we ended up with 2 offers that were so extremely similar, very, very
really
strong.
Identical,
oh my gosh. And honestly, it was a tough decision for the sellers. And we, after we chatted and discussed from the real estate perspective, we asked them to go chat amongst themselves from the personal perspective, because it is your home, and that's an important thing. Yes. And not everyone, certainly not us, can make it a mechanical decision. There has to be a little bit of heart to it. So anyway, so we let them decide. Ultimately, they decided on an offer. We discussed with the realtor. Everything came to terms. Everything is signed off. Yep. The home is officially pending. Yep. And they can have their weekend back if they decide to come back. Yep. They can have Saturday and Sunday. And I let those other people know as soon as they were in the no pile. Yep. That way they could start to make their game plan for the weekend, because I think that's just a very courteous thing to do in this crazy market. Anyway,
so many comments from whether or not they submitted a letter or told us their story, whatever it was. So many comments are we've submitted 8 offers and not gotten any of them. Yeah. And these are not people that are so we had one offer from just an investor that was under asking price for cash. Low earnest money deposit. It would have been a strong offer in any other market.
Absolutely.
Not strong now.
Not now, yeah.
But what I'm getting at is,
hello, squirrel.
The people that were, and by the way, you can go out that gate if you want, and we'll just kind of go back the way we came, because we're going to come to the back gate now.
Yeah.
But in any other market, that offer would have been strong. And also, though, the people that were telling us we've submitted 8 offers and we haven't gotten any yet, they were making strong offers.
Yeah,
it wasn't like, well, stop offering bad offers. They were not bad offers. Every offer we had was strong.
Yeah. So let's find something else to talk about.
Let's talk about speed bumps.
Let's talk about speed bumps. Do you know there are speed tables and speed bumps?
That's true. What's the difference? The speed table's longer.
Well, I mean, I know that.
It's more like a table.
Yeah.
So this is the back gate.
Well, first of all, do we want to end the video? Are people bored of us?
No, because we told them we'd do the stats. So go left.
Oops.
That's okay. No, that was just the mic thing. That's fine. All good. Plunk. Go back that way. That's fine. Go because the sun is better that way. You make these decisions. They're so important. That's your phone. Anyway, we'll do the stats in a second. And I forgot the other thing I was saying, so it doesn't really matter because very little of what I said matters. Before I get to the stats, I just want to share with you, I was looking for you people for support a week ago or 2 weeks ago when I said that I look like Barney Rubble, and I didn't get it. What I got was, oh yeah, you really do look like Barney Rubble. So thanks a lot, everyone. We did get a Peloton. That was the other thing that happened. So maybe I'll be less rubbly soon. We'll see. We'll track. Here, I'll sit here and we'll do it for the before after. Okay, stats. We'll just talk about why this is all happening. Why 10 offers that are all strong, and we had to turn down 9 of them. So just a couple of the things. So the MLS puts out every month. They give us the stats of what's happening, and they tell us what happened month to month and year to year. Now, one of the things that's interesting about the year to year stats now is we're sort of now into the pandemic year to year. So May of 2020. We knew we were in it. It was starting to really affect life a lot more, and so there it was starting to affect the housing market. But remember, homes that sold in May of last year were probably contracted in April or late March.
Yeah.
So this is still sort of, we're getting into the pandemic, but the numbers are stark. So year to year, active listings. In other words, how many homes are on the market? That person just went right on through.
Yep.
Down 66% year to year. So we have 14,546 active listings last month in Orlando. Last year it was 42,000 listings. Oh my God. So we have a third of the active listings. But here's what to me is interesting. Listings sold were up. We actually sold more listings last month than we did a year ago. So we sold 17,000 homes were sold last month. A year ago last month, it was 11,000. So we're actually selling more, even though there's fewer active listings. So all that adds up to is everything is selling fast.
Yes.
And we see that in two other stats. Average days in the market. Last year this time, it was 52 days in the market. So if you listed your home and we got it sold for you under 2 months, we would say, hey, you beat the average, great job, fantastic. So if you listed your home, you could expect it to be on the market for 2 months. Now it's 27 days on the market, which, by the way, seems like an eternity.
It's like that doesn't seem right. It seems like the average day should be like 2.
Yeah, well, that's what, I mean, and I will say that's what our listings have been, 2, 3, 4 days. It's not...
in this area.
In this area, yeah. So the whole Orlando area, it could be longer. And that includes properties that are, $5 million. Shaq's house was on the market for a long time. So that adds to the, that adds to the averages. But then if you look at that days of inventory stat, so this time last year, we had 4 months of inventory. So in other words, there was enough homes on the market so that if everyone who wanted to buy a home bought one, it would take 4 months to sell them all. Now the stat is 1, but that's not even true. We're at 12 days of inventory. So we're at 1/2 month of inventory.
It's getting really crazy. Which, by the way, if you watch these videos just because you like to see what it's like to drive around Florida, if you like it for some of the other information, that is why. And I actually had this message with the client this morning. Sometimes you have maybe credit repair, or maybe you have to pay this off before you can move forward on something. It absolutely is imperative in this market before you look to be ready to jump. And being ready to jump means have that pre-approval, have that proof of funds if it's cash. If you need to switch, transfer funds from one account from an IRA or something to have those funds accessible even for your initial deposit, do it. Have it ready to go, because none of these homes or none of these contracts, interestingly, none of them had contingencies.
God, that's actually stunning.
None of them
10 offers, no contingencies.
No home to sell, no home to close contingency.
So they were ready.
They were ready.
And I'm aware of at least one offer that was going to be incoming. They ran out of time. They didn't have their stuff ready, which was not their fault.
No.
The house surprised them on the market.
Yes.
So which is another point.
But
if
they weren't ready.
You even might be considering it if the right house popped up. You got to get ready.
Yeah. Where we're going now, right?
We're going to McDonald's to get a soda. There's no question about it. So we will wrap this up. Sorry, we were a little rambling today,
a little bit.
But it's been a rambling kind of week.
Yeah.
But we so appreciate you watching. We so appreciate the comments, even the Barney Rubble comments.
Okay.
Anyway, so thank you very much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, and we love you.
We actually really
every single solitary one of you. We love you.
We do.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Happy house hunting.